Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Mock the Mock. I am Trevor Sikkema. This week, we're going to have some fun this week. We got Kyle Crabb's latest mock draft from over at thedraftnetwork.com, and with it, so many trades, so many quarterback scenarios. Kyle went off the wall with this mock draft, which means there's going to be some great selections, not just for this show here on Mock the Mock, but also for favorite fits later in the week. We do have to start here with MTM, talking about a pick that we got to change. It's got to be a little bit different. And of course, it has to deal with Kyle's Miami Dolphins getting Deshaun Watson. So there was a Miami Houston Texans trade in which he had Deshaun going to Miami for a lot of picks, also Tua Tagovailoa, but mainly the number 3 overall pick. So the Texans then were on the clock at number 3. Kyle had them taking Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith. Now, makes sense because Tagovailoa is now on the team. He's a starting quarterback in Houston. He gets his favorite target in Devontae Smith. But if the Texans are getting number 3, and if they are not then trading it back, which they could get some more first-round picks, it's got to be something other than Devontae Smith. I just don't think Smith is going to go as high as number 3, and I don't think he should. When you've got an offensive lineman like Penei Sewell on the board, maybe even Rashawn Slater, I feel like that's where you got to go. If you're the Texans, you're probably not looking to compete right away anyways. Can you imagine a life where you got Laramie Tunsil on one side and Penei Sewell on the other? I really do think that if the Texans are not trading that number 3 pick, they got to invest in a high return position. And I think that's along the offensive line, even with Tunsil. Sewell on one side, Tunsil on the other. That's the dream if they're sticking at number 3. Next one we want to talk about, we got another trade we got to analyze. This one's between the Washington football team and the Detroit Lions. Kyle has Washington moving up from number 19 all the way up to number 7 to go get quarterback Trey Lance, which is good. But we're here to talk about the bad part of it. He has the Detroit Lions going from number 7 to number 19, getting an extra first-round pick, which, look, if you think about the other first-round picks that they got this offseason, they added a lot of draft capital. They move back, and at number 19, Kyle has them selecting wide receiver Rashad Bateman, which objectively is not a bad thing. Rashad Bateman would be good for him. They don't have any wide receivers under contract right now. That makes sense, but they passed on Trey Lance being on the board, and I get that they would have some faith in Jared Goff. I think that there's a chance that they could roll with him this year, not address quarterback, but would that be the smart option? If they had the chance to get Trey Lance right here, you get Trey Lance at number 7, have him under Jared Goff, and you figure Jared Goff's probably not the long-term answer in Detroit, at least from what he showed us in Los Angeles. And so if you have Trey Lance behind him, I think that's the ideal scenario. You can't move on from Goff right away. His contract doesn't allow you to do it. But if you get Trey Lance in the building, man, that makes sense to me. That's an ideal situation. And with Lance on the board, I'm not so sure trading back would be the option here for Detroit. Well, last selection we're going to talk about, you guessed it, it's another trade. This one involves the Indianapolis Colts popping up to number 14, trading back with the Minnesota Vikings. And Indianapolis doesn't give up a lot. They give up their number 21 overall pick, but then just a couple of picks later in the draft to go up and get a quarterback. They go up and select Mac Jones, the quarterback from Alabama. So he is also a top 15 pick in this mock draft. And so you think, hey, Indianapolis needs a quarterback. If they're not getting one before the draft starts, they've really got to go. I just don't think Mac Jones would be the guy for them. Chris Ballard, general manager for the Indianapolis Colts, he's talked before about, hey, the second I draft a quarterback, I'm basically on the clock as a GM, because if that quarterback doesn't go well, then I'm going to be out the door, especially with that quarterback being a first-round pick. He referenced first-round pick quarterbacks really putting GMs on the spot. And so with that reservation there, with him being aware of what's at stake when you draft a quarterback in the first round, let alone the top 15, is Mac Jones that guy? Are they going to want to trade up and throw everything, not just the GM's reputation, but more draft capital up to draft Mac Jones? Are they going to have that much confidence in him? I don't think they are. And I think that Chris Ballard realizes that. And so where I do understand why Kyle made this pick, because Indianapolis is probably going to need a quarterback, I don't think it happens this way. And I'm not so sure it even happens this way if Mac Jones were to fall at number 21. I think Indianapolis is either getting really aggressive to move up in the top 10, or they're not taking a quarterback at all. That is all for Mock the Mock this week. But like I said earlier in the show, Kyle's got a lot more trades that we got to talk about. We're going to get to a couple of really fun ones during Favorite Fits coming out later this week.